So good morning everybody. Those of you know this is What's Working Wednesday on the Step by Step listening page. I'm Cheryl Andrews, I'm the founder, and today I'm at Square Pegs, the Creativity and Wellbeing Centre here at North Cross Street in Gosport. And I want to show you a little bit around the site. We're just getting ready for our AGM at 1 o'clock. I'm the trustee here, and I want to talk about why is it so hard to be inclusive? Why is inclusivity so hard? And one of the things I'm going to talk about in the talk today is the many challenges we have as human beings. We often, in order to think clearly, we need to be on our own, but also to think creatively, we need inspiration outside of us. And so one of the reasons I do the work that I do is because it's really important that people understand what kind of listening they need, what kind of support they need, to understand when they need to be on their own and understand when they need to be included and they need to be in a group, and then have the clarity and the confidence to ask for their needs to be met. And ultimately what happens when we can't get inclusivity is because we have a clash of needs. So for example, maybe a conversation I had with my cousin this weekend, he needed to talk to me and I needed some introverted time. I'd been away for the weekend at a friend's wedding. It was really fantastic. I loved being around everybody. I'd been working all week, I'd done a lot of coaching, doing a lot of listening to other people, and I was now at that point where I needed some time to be quiet. And one of the challenges, and this is why the book Do Delegate or Ditch is all about the time monster, is it's often simply about timing, that we need our needs clash in terms of time. And so the actual way I managed that conversation with my cousin is to say, I want to be there to listen to you and I need some introverted time. How can we both have it? And he came back and said, it's not urgent, we can talk next week, not a problem. And so we were able to sort it out. So I want you to think about that inclusivity. I'm going to take you for a little wander around Square Pegs, and I want to show you the Zen Den, because when people come to the centre, they come to do creativity clubs, they come to do ceramic painting. I can even show you my paintings from yesterday. And what happens is that it gives them something to do, so the pressure isn't on. You don't have to be talking, but you have got people here to talk to if you need or want to. But also when you're in a group, sometimes the noise levels, the conversations can become quite challenging or hard to process. And so we have what they call a Zen Den, which is a sensory room where you can just go off and be very quiet on your own. So I'm going to take you through now and I'm going to show you a little bit about it. I'm hoping that you can see this. So I'm going to do that so you can actually see the centre here at Gosport. And that's Heidi, one of our wonderful volunteers. And if you haven't looked at Square Peg's page yet, you can see her beautiful interview from a couple of weeks ago, I think it was now. So this is the centre, and so there's lots of clubs that happen here: sewing, crafting, ceramics. I will show you my lovely ladybird from last night, which is of course in step-by-step colours. So this is my piece of work yesterday, but as I was painting my ladybug, I was listening to a young man here in his 30s who, I'm just going to show you the Zen Den. This is, so I'll just go back actually so you can see here the Zen Den.
There is
and
in the Zen Den.
there's what in the Zen Den? It's a mess, is it? Okay, that's all right. I won't. Where's the light switch? Shall I do? Oops, sorry guys, I'm.
That's all right. It's the blind leading the blind.
It's up there. Okay, so this is our Zen Den, so it's a little space, but we've also got here, look, there's actually pebbles on the wall, so people are very kinesthetic, it gives them something to feel, touch. But for me as an adult, actually I just need to be away from all the other noises. When I come in here, it's a time to just sit and process everything that I've heard, seen, felt and experienced while I'm here. And yesterday when I was volunteering here, there was a young man with Down syndromes, and he was saying that he wants to become the expert of the tea and coffee here at the centre. And I just asked him, so when you become an expert, then what happens? And he said, well, then I become a real man. And you know, that's the reality, is as human beings, we all want to be included. We want to feel that we are valued, that we matter, that we make a difference, that we count for something. And yet sometimes it isn't possible for us to be included. Maybe our skill set's not there. Maybe our communication skills aren't the same as required for that particular environment. And so as managers, as parents, as teachers, as community leaders, we have to continually work on updating our communication skills in order that we can honour every human being that we spend time with, that we can truly listen to them and give them our time and attention. And I truly believe that the only way we can do that is by getting really clear about what we want from our lives, getting clarity and having the confidence to ask for it. And the more that we do that, when we do more of what we love and we ditch the critic that stops us as individuals living the life we want, then we create more time in our lives, and then we've got time for people. So my time here at the centre, I volunteer for just 3 or 4 hours a month when I come and do the volunteer session on a Tuesday afternoon. And I also give about a day and a half a month as a trustee. And every time I spend time with this business, with this charity, I am stretched to listen to some really sad stories, just to see how difficult some people's lives are. And they depend on this centre. They depend on this centre to have somewhere they can drop in and for a pound can have a cup of coffee, and somebody will listen to them without judgment. And I don't, it doesn't matter what your ethnic is or your financial situation, every human being at some point will require someone to talk to. Now, I'm very lucky that my clients know about people like me and they can afford to invest. They know the value of being listened to, and so they pay for coaching or counselling or that kind of thing to get themselves those resources when they need them. But there are people in our community that don't know those resources that even exist, and they don't necessarily have the finances to do it. And so that's why I support Square Pegs. I'm really looking forward to our AGM later. What I'd love to hear from you today is, what stories have you got where you have felt excluded? I want to hear about how uncomfortable it felt. What would you like to have had happen differently? So a time in your life, or something that's happening now where you don't feel included in the situation. And tell me about the story, tell me about the experience, and then tell me what you'd like to have had happen instead, so that we can start to learn how we can make inclusivity easier for each other without compromising ourselves, because a lot of supporters end up compromising their needs to include everybody else, but actually the person they don't include is themselves. Hope that's been useful to you. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.